Welcome to Grassroots Racing. Today we're here at Machell Place with Kevin Philippart de Foy. A bit of a mouthful, but he's kindly invited us into his stables today. Only a young lad, 30 years of age, 80 horses in training. It's a magnificent stables, as you can see in the background. We're going to start off, Kevin, please, if you can start off from when you was really, really young and start right from the beginning with horses.
So, when I'm born in racing, really. My mom was a jockey. So when I was about 3 months old, I was in the weighing room because she started riding very quickly after I was born. So I was in the weighing room from the age of 3. Actually, my head lad today, Kevin Marks, was a jockey in Belgium at the time. So he knows me since I'm very young, and I was always around with the jockeys. Went racing every weekend with my mom and started running around on the race course. Obviously, the race courses are smaller in Belgium, and I knew everyone. Everyone was taking care of me, and I was just loose on the race course. And yes, it started from there. My mom got me my first pony when I was 4. I wasn't doing any pony racing or anything like that when I was young, but I was always with my ponies on the training center, jumping fences and countering on the grass, on the sand. My mom tried to keep me away from racing, so I started by show jumping, eventing. I mean, everything involving horses, but away from racing was good. So I was doing lots of different things, but I always at the back of my mind that I wanted to be involved. When I was young, I wanted to be a jockey, probably like every single young kid. I was quite a chubby little boy, so that went out of the window for a while. And yes, kind of had the idea of training from the age of 14, 15. Started riding out racehorses over the summer holidays when I was 16. And then 18 years old, I was like, yes, I finished school, and I was like, I want to be involved in racing. My mom said, okay, fair enough, that's your choice, but you're not staying in Belgium, you're going to Chantilly. Got in touch with cricket in Chantilly and started with her as a lad, just doing general duties. Grew into second travelling head lad. Head lad. Done a lot of different things, kind of pupil assistant. I was going everywhere and doing everything. But I think it was a great experience.
So when you went to cricket in France, how old was you?
I was 18, and I spent 5 seasons with cricket. She was like my second mum in Chantilly, looked after me very well. At that time, I started as an amateur rider, rode a couple of races, and after in France you're not allowed to be a stable lad and an amateur rider, so I had to take my professional license. So I tried to be a jockey for a while, lost a lot of weight.
So you was trying hard to be a jockey still?
I mean, I tried for a bit, and I think it was a good experience at the time. Did you
get any rides as an amateur?
Yes, I mean, I rode 15 winners between amateur and professional jockey.
Wow.
I mean, that it took a while, and I was pretty bad jockey, and I was always too heavy, so it was a bad combination. But I'm glad I had the experience, because it helped me. It's probably helping me today to understand the races a bit better.
I've got to say, I've come here today, and obviously I've done a little bit of homework on you. And I know the name, obviously, in racing and with cross paths, but I can't believe the experience and the background you've got. When I sort of looked up on you, and that's what I want to get out of you today. So you've gone to France with cricket, and then that's the start of it, and then from there.
John Knox for a spell couldn't speak a word of English, so cricket said just go to Ireland and have a couple of months there. got there in November, beginning of the winter. I mean, John was great, but that wasn't the best time to go to Ireland, especially I drove my car.
It's bad in the summer.
I drove my car, I got in front of John Knox's place, spoke to him, said hi. After the third question I was completely lost. My English from school wasn't taking me anywhere. I used to say yes to everything. Oh yes, 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 yes. The more yes I was saying, the less I could understand the question.
The more jobs she was getting.
But you know what? I've learned my few words, and he was incredibly good.
Another famous man, yeah.
Another famous man. It was the year after See the Star. The year after See the Star. So we had Born to the Sea, Ackett Muffet, a lot of very nice horses.
So what was your actual job when you went to Ireland?
I was just a work rider.
Just as a work rider.
Yes.
So gaining experience.
Yes.
So
yes.
you've gone from Belgium. Which did your mum live in?
Yeah, she was still living in Belgium. Yes.
Right. So you've gone from Belgium to France to Ireland.
Yes.
With John Ox, learnt your trade a bit more.
Yes, learned my trade. So something different. Went back to cricket because it was always the plan. And
so you've gone from John Ox back to cricket?
Yes, back to cricket. It was always like cricket sent me away for a couple of months, but it was always with the idea of it's over the winter, it's a bit quieter, you come back for the next season. Went back to cricket, and at the end of the year she said, you need to go somewhere.
Can I just ask you, from France to Ireland, was the work and the training different?
A bit different. I felt they were working much harder. They were fairly tough on their horses.
In Ireland?
Yes, in Ireland.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, cricket was probably very easy on the horses, and John was getting them fit and quite hard.
And Ireland racing is tough. It's very tough in Ireland.
And then you see when you see them in the finish, generally the Irish horses come on top because mentally they're like
push that much harder.
Yes.
Yeah. So back to France, and then where was next?
America. Cricket is very close from Christophe Clement,
right.
French trainer in America. So she said, just go there for a spell. You have to see it. It's very different. But Christophe is a very good horseman, and you have to work with him. Ended up spending a year and a half with him. I couldn't stay any longer because of my visa, and I had to come back. Worked in 18 months without a day off or a Sunday off. Absolutely loved every single minute of it.
Some experience going to America. Big difference again from Ireland, France?
Yes, we always talk about American racing, the drug issue, the medication issue. They are looking after the horses very well. Like attention to detail. Yes, Christophe's attention to detail is second to none. Legs, like he feels every single legs of his horses every day. Just like he's just the most driven person I've ever seen.
This is the bit I'm getting onto really. So France, Belgium, France, Ireland, America, and every place you're going, you're learning new things. Like you say, the attention to detail in America,
yes,
and all that. And it's honestly, when I've read up on you now and your horses and your place, it's just fantastic. I'm really, really amazed, to be honest. I've walked in here, so impressive. It's the first time I've been here. Incredible. You're doing so well.
Thank you.
So, where did you go? So you're in America, 18 months.
Yes.
Visa runs out.
I need to go back to Europe. I'm planning to start training in France a couple of years later, but I wanted to do Newmarket. I wanted to do English racing. Had a chat with Christophe. Christophe wanted me to go back to Europe and come back to America as assistant, something like that. And I really liked America, but I just felt we're always moving, and my life is more in Europe. So I said no. My life is in Europe. That's the decision I made. He said, okay, just go to Newmarket and you will start working for James Fanshawe. I've spoken to him. You'll be assistant there. He's a great man. You will learn plenty there. So yes, all right, yes. I mean, he said just go for an interview with James Fanshawe. He actually didn't tell me that he already accepted the job for me. So I arrived at James for an interview, and James is explaining me what I'm going to do 2 weeks later when I start.
So it's not an interview, he's telling you what job you're going to do.
I figured out after 20 minutes that I already said yes to the job. And I didn't have much choice. Christophe's son was with Hugo Palmer at the time. So I had the room ready there, got very well looked after, and spent 5 years with James Fanshawe, fell in love with English racing, and there we are.
That's the question I really want to ask you, because you're the only person I've ever come across that's... I know loads of trainers that go to France to train, but I've never heard of anybody coming from France to train in England.
Yes, I just feel English racing, like racing is in people's blood in this country. They live for it, they go to big meetings while Ascot was coming up. You have a lot of energy within the young people in the industry. If you look at Newmarket, all the young trainers, they're doing very well, a lot of energy for the future, and that's what you need. I felt when I was in Chantilly, it's probably a bit better now, but just like you didn't have the same positive energy that you have within the young people, between bloodstock agents, like new owners, like syndicates. Like there's a lot going on in English racing, and we always complain about it. But I mean, we have a great industry.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The industry in the UK is fantastic. But there's a lot going on in the background, and you know this. It's a little bit controversial, I know. You know, I run my own syndicate, and I'm looking at it very closely. When you look at the BHA, how it's running everything, the ROA, the RSA with their, at grassroots level, and that's what all their filming is about. We don't feel we get any support at all at the low level. It's still, I always liken it to the Masons. If you're at the bottom, you're not going to get any help.
No.
And I think the BHA, they can't make a decision about anything, and when they make a decision, it gets overturned, and everybody's taking so much money out of it. But us at grassroots level, and I'm sure that you train for a lot of people at the low level, what would your assessment of that be? But that's this is what I'm saying to you, the difference between people in the UK. I'm going to be sending horses to France this year, and all the good horses are being sold here to go to different countries, and there's a reason for that.
There is definitely a reason for it, just because the money. Yes, I mean the prize money is abroad. That's certain, and yes, we have decent prize money in big races, but like it's impossible to make a living with low-level horses. In France, you do. The industry here is built in a different way. I just feel if you have so many rules and regulation in this country, and so many people fighting against each other.
Yeah.
Without being driven all like in the same direction, we all want the same thing. But just like with so many different bodies and so many people interfering.
We all want the same thing that are involved with racing, but it's the people that are outside of racing that are pulling it all in different directions, so we don't get exactly what we want. And that's why I've got such a grievance against all the other things that are going on. That's why we're making these videos, to show how we feel at this low level. I mean, you've got 80 horses in training. How many people have you got, would you say, like with single horses, the lower level of owners, if you like?
I would say, 60 to 70% of my string are between syndicates or people with one horse, or this partnership between 3 or 4, 5 people who are sharing 2 or 3 horses.
Yeah, that's the backbone of UK racing. That is the backbone of it. What I'm trying to do is I'm speaking about that because I don't think we get represented anywhere. There's the Racehorse Owners Association. They do nothing for the owners. Nothing. I don't even recognise them. I don't know whether you get it, because obviously as a trainer you probably don't get involved with the ROA. But you can see what's going on.
No, but I have owners who are involved with the ROA. I've had owners who are members staying away from it now.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame.
And this is the point I'm making, really. I mean, we're here today. Look, a young lad, 30 years old, travelled all around the world, doing extremely well, and you're waiting for owners to come into you. Fortunately enough, you're doing well enough. You've got quite a few horses, but all the other up and coming trainers are really struggling with owners, and we feel everything gets taken away from us at that level. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into that, obviously we've got our beliefs, and all them associations, like the World Pool now is coming to the front. What do you think of the World Pool? What's going on with that?
I feel it. I mean, like, yes, I'm trying not to be. Yes, I'm trying not to be too involved at the moment, because I'm just focusing on my training.
Yeah. But with your training, you need owners.
Yes,
you need better prize money.
Yes.
You're in a fortunate enough position, but you've got to look at the whole industry and what's going on.
Yes. No, definitely. Like, and it's not. Yes, it's not all good. We both know that. I just feel like what's the backbone of racing? It's like its owners who want to have winners and wants to like have a little profit out of it and just enjoy it and being recognized that they have a horse. And
I can tell you through experience that what they at the top level, the BHA and all that, they rely on the people low down to be happy just to win a race. They're not, so you're not worried about the prize money. But the way things are going, the best horses are being taken out of the country and all that. Racing's got to change very soon.
Racing has got to change very soon. I would take the example of Japan. We're like buying a lot of our mares. Their breeding is
second to none,
second to none, and that's really coming back. We've seen them doing very well on the international scene, and I'm sure they will be doing very well here very soon.
Yeah,
and taking the big races.
Yeah. Well, who's going to turn up for? That's what I was discussing it this morning about Ascot entering a few of our horses at our low level. And then when you look at what horses you're going to be up against, from what countries you're going to be up against, it's so difficult because that's the way horse racing's gone.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like definitely. Just, I mean, like it's a shame that you see your brood. I mean, the broodmare man in England just getting smaller, and actually, they will breed very decent horses in 5 or 10 years time, or further down the line. And the couple of races that we have with decent prize money, they will probably come back and win them. And that's just like started slowly eating up.
So during all your time in all these different countries, who would be the person you'd look up to most, do you think, apart from your mum?
Christoph probably. Christoph would be someone. Just I admire Christoph like for his drive. He's the most driven person I've ever met, and that's probably where I learned like this, and that's probably what I've learned the most. Is like just like put your head down, work, go forward, and fight. And like that's he went to America when he was very young, started from nothing, and now he's one of the 10 best trainer in the country. So it's just like. There is a reason behind it, and it's a bit the same. Like it's a bit the same with me coming to the UK. We started with 3 or 4 horses. We had 7, and after a month.
And how long have you been going in the UK?
I think we started in November 2020. So like just
and you're up to 80.
Yes, just above a year. Yes, just above a year and a half. Yes, but just like it's just like.
But Kevin, you're doing something right, mate. You're doing, that's.
You go to the sales and you need to buy something that you like. You need to find a client, you need to find the right horse. You need to work the sale very hard, bring them back and prove to the client that you bought that horse for a reason, that you want to get results out of it. Don't get me wrong, it won't always work, but as long as you have an idea in mind, a plan, and you stick to your plan and you just try to achieve the best. And get up every single day and work until you go to bed. It's just like, I mean, there's no.
I can tell you're very driven with the whole thing, and you've got to love it. You must love it.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, you have a winner, and some people are like, "Come on, Kev, be happy." I was like, "Yes, but I have a runner tomorrow afternoon, and I want that one to win." So it's just like that's how it is. But that's my nature. That's.
Yeah,
it's probably something will grow like through the years between the people. I mean, when you're successful, you have to be driven. Like when you go, it's in every business, every single sport. And I'm not the only one.
So what's your most successful horse in the last 2 years then?
We had Vafortino who won the we won the Victoria Cup, obviously. Power Glory was one who's done very well for us. She finished twice second of Group 3s. There is a horse called Juan de Montalban that I like. He won that Ascot on Victory.
I'm listening to you. I can't believe how quickly you've succeeded in getting horses in group races, and this takes people years normally.
Yes, but it's just like there's a bit of luck. I met the right people at the right time. Built relation with my previous trainer. I had people that are also with Christophe.
Do you get any French horses or any contacts?
I got 2 or 3 horses from France. Yes, I got 2 fillies from France last year. They won a couple of races. They ended up being well handicapped in the UK. Just tried. I didn't know if it would work. We've done it. It worked. I'm not sure it will work every single time. But yes, when you swap horses from a country to another, try to train it a bit differently. And sometimes they just especially older horses, they just come back to life for a bit and start winning again. It won't work with every single one of them, but you have to try different things.
Yeah. So how involved are you in actually buying horses?
Very involved. I look at as many horses as possible at the sales. Obviously, I can't do everything, and I have people helping me. But I like to be involved with the people rather than being. It's not about sitting on the chair.
Can I ask you, because I feel at the level that we're at, the only people that we get any help from in this industry, any help from at all, is Tattersalls.
Yes,
I absolutely think that Tattersalls could run the whole show and make a better job of it. They help you out with the financing, with absolutely everything. It's just help. But they're a business, and they run their business very, very well.
Yes.
What would you say about Tattersalls?
Very good company, very helpful, run by very good people with plenty of experience. They're always there to help you, especially when you're young. They will work with you.
I found exactly that when we started our little syndicate. They've helped us from day one. They're the only people I'd have to be able to thank in any of the horse racing people.
They will work with. It's a big. It's probably a difference between the BAJ and Tattersalls. Tattersalls works with you. Sometimes you feel the governing body works against you.
They definitely do work against you.
That's my feeling.
Yeah. But that's a feeling you have to be very careful with. The controversy and everything that's going on in racing at the moment. Yeah. The BHA have got an absolutely terrible name. I've spoken to them this week, and the rest of them, honestly, it just seems everybody's dipping into the pot and no one's putting back in. And that's the prize money. I know there's so much goes in at the beginning and nothing comes out at the end.
No, definitely.
So, how many two-year-olds have you got this year?
Half of our string is 2-year-olds.
Is it?
Around 40. It's very important to get new blood.
Yeah. A couple of our members have asked me to ask you, have you got a 2-year-old to look out for?
Yes, we probably have a James Garfield will be running.
And James Garfield, a fairly new stallion.
Done very well from a small number. Probably running at the end of the month. He will be one to look. He's a call that I like. Very laid back, great attitude. He's probably one that I would.
Talking about stallions, what stallions do you? When you go to the sales, do you have a particular type of horse? A 2-year-old, a sharp 2-year-old, or?
But it depends. It depends on the client. When you get a new client who has never been involved in racing, you always try to buy him a horse in training, so it's something to enjoy straight away. And after you buy a sharp horse, and if they're planning to get more horses, you just buy something backward as well. It's just once you have someone new, they need something to look forward to, and they can't be waiting for 2 years before they have a runner. So we just we try to make a plan. I don't look at I try to keep with European stallions. I just try not to go too far from if they perform well in the country, they perform well in European racing, I have better chance that they will do well. So I probably try to stick to Irish and English, and sometimes French stallions. But then I mean, obviously you always have stallions that you like a bit more than the others. But at the end of the day, if the dam is producing racehorses or young dam that's doing well, and you try to buy some horse that looks like a racehorse, it's easy to say and it's more difficult to do.
I think we all experience that one.
But I don't write. I don't go to the sales writing any horse of, like, I just try to make, yes, you need to come up with like point of view and like something like, okay, I believe in this one, and they are the reason why I believe in this one. If you have more positive than negative, it's a horse that you could potentially buy. Have
you got any favourite stallion, something that stands out? Sione or?
Yes, Sione will be one. I like the Ballylinge stallions, New Bay, Lob de Vega. Yes, New Bay is one that probably stick.
My favourite.
Okay.
But I've never been able to buy one.
Maybe like we have New Pursuit. We've done well as a 2 and 3 year old so far. Va Fortino won the Victoria Cup, is a New Bay as well. I would say it's a tiny bit.
Yeah, he's expensive now, and he's gone up.
Yes, he's like 2 years ago. Yes, I mean we bought the yearling 2 years ago. But I don't think we'll be able to buy the same horse again.
No, I've been looking. Very difficult. But as I came in, you was riding. Was that a hack or you ride out still?
No, I like riding. I probably would always sit. I would probably sit on every single horse in the yard, except like I won't ride small fillies because I'm a bit heavy for them. But I won't ride every single lot every single day. I try to ride 1 or 2 horses a day.
So you're really hands-on with that. You can get a feel for them. And
I don't ride pieces of work. I always watch my workers, and like jockeys are doing it. But I like when we have quite a lot. I always try to ride a horse countering with the lads. So first, it's great to be close from the lads and just like have a chat with them, and we're a team and we spend a lot of time together. So it's just we have a chat while we ride out. Everything is okay. Yes. Or it's life outside of racing, so it just allows me to spend a bit more time with my guys and to ride a horse and to have a feel for them. Sometimes I buy a horse at the sales and I'm like, actually, like, should I drop him in trip? Should I step him up? Get the opinion of a jockey, and after obviously you have all the data and you watch races, and I feel like I would just have a sit on it.
Get a feel for yourself.
And have my own. I might be right sometimes.
There ain't too many trainers in Newmarket that are riding horses out.
But you have a few who are doing it, and when you start, it's very important to watch them all. But when you you have a quieter lot and you can sit on one, it's just like it's hugely beneficial. And I keep myself a tiny bit fitter, because otherwise you're in the car going up and down the one hill and eating and just not doing anything. It's great to do, and I mean I ride more over the summer than I ride over the winter, but no, it's great.
Can I lastly, just before we finish, I just wanted to ask you a bit about syndicates, because that's my passion. Obviously, the level that I'm doing it at now, we can't afford to do it on our own, so we need to have a syndicate around us. And there's lots of controversy over syndicates. It's not policed at all. There's no legislation as such. People are just willy-nilly buying a horse for £1,500 and selling £200,000, £300,000 worth of shares. What's your thought along them lines of that allowed to be going on?
Obviously, we should have more of a structure behind it. It's very important. Yes, I mean, we both know that practices shouldn't be allowed at the moment. We should have a body working with us. And that we should, like, syndicate should be registered and approved before going on the market, and not the other way around, where like they go and sell their shares and after they just register.
To be fair, every day on Facebook they pop up and you've got people not even involved with racehorsing. Now they can see there's a lot of money to be made. They do the big advert.
I mean you will have people who like they don't know anything about racing, but they just see it as a way to make money. That's the wrong approach.
It's like microshares. Because microshares, I've been studying microshares in Australia and America. I'm a great believer in syndicates. I think syndicates is the way to go. but there's no legislation, there's no policing, so people are allowed to do literally what they want. You know, I've spoken to the BHA directly about it, and I honestly just can't get to the bottom of why it's going on and why the general public are just joining up to these things. They don't really, because it's not transparent, they don't really know what they're getting involved with.
No, but I mean, people should read about it and probably like speak to trainers. I would say trainers are the best. I mean, it's not because I'm a trainer, but like they're the most honest people about it. And we would advise probably to join one. Yes, to join some syndicates that we already know are well established and that we can trust.
I was talking to someone the other day that's just joined a syndicate, and they called me. They're not in my syndicate. They called me and said to me, "Can you advise me?" I said, "Well, explain it to me." And it turned out that the training fees for that horse was, let's just say, £2,000 a month, and they was being charged £6,000 a month for training fees.
Yes, no, I know. I've worked with a couple of syndicates, and yes, they get more money in the pot than the training fees, but after the 12 months, they just come up with the invoices and like it's very transparent, and they just redistribute the money. That's what we've been working, and I would say that's fair because you try to cover everything, and after you just like try to get the money back. But no, sure, yes, it's surely like you have plenty of people who are like covering the training fees and everything and their own life at the same time.
We won't go too deep into that because it's been a lovely interview with you. I'm very pleased to meet you. I mean, you've got fantastic facilities. Honestly, I'm really, really impressed with what you've done for a young lad all around the world. I mean, you've got to be really happy yourself, and you've got to smile a bit more, like they keep telling you.
Yes,
but fantastic. I've really enjoyed it today, so thank you very much, Kevin.
No, that's very kind. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much.